Hello there, how are you doing today? Well, what's your name? Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Quiet, and today I am just going to be checking your scalp and your head to make sure that we don't have any problems with lice. It's really nothing to worry about. In fact, I believe that education is the best way to keep lice from spreading. So before I check your head, I wanted to share this little chart with you. I think that this is a really great chart to kind of explain how a lice infestation can get started. So you've got the life cycle of head lice. So on day 0, an egg is laid on the hair shaft, and a lice egg is called a nit. So I'll be calling it a nit from now on. Then from 6 to 7 days, the louse emerges, and then they have their first molt 2 days after hatching, second molt 5 days after hatching, third 10 days after hatching, and then number 6, emerging from their third molt as adult lice, the female and slightly smaller male begin to reproduce, meaning they're going to create lots more little lice, some nits. So then next, the female lays the first egg 1 or 2 days after mating, and then female can lay approximately 3 to 8 eggs per day for the next 16 days. So I'm sure you're learning your multiplication tables, and you can come up pretty quick with that makes a lot of eggs, a lot of little nits in a short amount of time. And then having lived 32 to 35 days, the louse will die. So they don't have a very long lifespan, but they reproduce quite a bit, so it doesn't matter so much that they have a short lifespan. But it does help with the treatment process if you do have it. So you are welcome to keep this. I've got one printed out for everybody. I want you to just put that in your backpack, give it to your parents so that they can have the information, because as I said, the best way to prevent lice from spreading is education. Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get some gloves on, and then I'm going to start checking that scalp for some nits. Now, we can check for lice as well, but typically when we're doing these checks, it's the nits we're looking for, because the lice themselves are very fast. As soon as we part the hair, they skitter away. So we don't really see them. So we're not really looking for the adult louse. We are looking for the nits, and the louse will lay a nit. Say you have your hair like this, like pretend this is a strand of hair. The eggs or the nits get laid onto the sides, one side of the hair. So as I am looking at your scalp, I'm going to be just checking the back sides of your hairs and seeing if I can find those little nits. And if you do, we'll go over that. We'll get you some treatment. It's really not as big a deal. Certainly not as big a deal as they told me it was when I was little. When I was little, if somebody had lice, it was like a big deal. We sent them home. They had to stay home until all the lice were gone. But it turns out that separating people that have lice isn't really a successful preventative for spreading it. Yeah, you would think it is, but it just turns out it's not. So to part your hair, I'm going to be using a fresh couple combs for you. I like to use these fine tooth combs with the picks at the end because it's really easy to kind of pick through each individual hair. But first, I'm just gonna kind of clip your hair to one side. All right. Now I'm just going to, before I use the combs, I'm just going to do a brief search all over your head, okay? All right. I'm just going to get kind of up close to you. It's really important that I look all behind your ears, because behind the ears is a hot spot for the lice to lay the nits. It's going to get right behind you. Also, right at the back of the nape of the neck is another hot spot for the eggs. I'm also just using this opportunity to make sure there are no other problems on your scalp. No bumps or bruisings or lacerations, anything like that. Right. Let's check this other side. So, how often do you wash your hair? So, every time you take a bath or shower, you wash your hair? Alright. Well, it doesn't matter so much how clean or even how dirty your hair is when it comes to lice. In fact, lice tend to prefer cleaner hair. Now, don't go using this as an excuse with your parents to not take a bath every night, because, you know, that one little advantage to dirty hair certainly doesn't make up for all of the disadvantages. Right? Well, I'm sure you always listen to your parents. Alright, well, my initial inspection didn't turn up anything bad, but I'm going to go in a little more thorough now with the comb. And I'm just going to start from the back of your head at the nape of your neck, since that is one of the hot spots. And I'm just going to be lifting your hairs, holding your hair from one direction, and then just kind of using the comb and the back, the pick part of the comb to look in every direction, okay? All right. Well, I'm not seeing anything so far. But we are still just on the back of the neck. But it's looking like I'm not going to find anything, so don't you worry. Just got to make sure I do a thorough check. I'm going to get on this side of the back of the neck. Well, I'm not really supposed to, tell anybody if we've found any or not, because there's such a stigma about kids who have lice. We don't want anyone getting bullied or anything like that. Anything we find, we will put in a note and it'll be sent to your parents, and nobody else will find out. Alright, well, there's certainly nothing on the nape of your neck, so I'm going to do the same thing, but behind each ear. Oh, that's probably just dandruff if it's just flaky. Dandruff, sometimes your scalp gets dry and the skin kind of comes up, and like when you scratch your head, you'll get white flakes that kind of fall to the ground, and those aren't nits, that's not lice, that's just dandruff. Nothing to worry about, and there are several shampoos that you can get that can help prevent dandruff if you're worried about it. Oh, okay, so it's not you, it's a friend, huh? Of course. How silly of me. Your head looks very clean. You were certainly telling the truth about washing your hair every day. Oh yes, sometimes the students do lie, you know. Maybe they're embarrassed about their hygiene or something, but they don't always tell me the truth about whether they bathe every day. Alright, well it's looking like the typical hot spots don't have any issues at all, which is very good. But now I'm just going to do a general look down your part. I'm going to be using the pick side of the comb. I'm just going to be parting your hair just like this, kind of looking in between each little area for all the parts that I might have missed before. Right. Now, I will recommend that you get checked more often than just at school. There is some more information that's going to come with that chart about the lice growth, and it will be just a little rundown of information for your parents so that they can do lice checks at home too. Right. Yeah, just simple combs like this. You can find them at most stores and they're extremely inexpensive. I got a huge pack of these combs for less than $5. Yeah, checking regularly at home, it just ensures that if you do happen to, a louse happens to jump on your head and lays an egg, you can catch it as soon as possible, because the sooner you catch it, the easier it is to get rid of them. Well, usually it takes a special shampoo, and you put the shampoo in, and it's supposed to kind of flush all of the lice away and kind of strip your hair of the nits. Sometimes there's a little bit of a burning sensation with that shampoo, but nothing terribly uncomfortable. Alright, everything's looking good on the front side, so I'm going to do this to the back and then we'll be just about done. You have been very patient. Thank you so much for sitting still for me today. Everything's looking really wonderful. Pretty sure I'm going to be able to give you a completely clean bill of health. Well, if you're really, worried about getting lice, ways to avoid getting lice, just make sure, like in stores, you probably shouldn't try on the hats and things because somebody before you that did have lice may have tried that hat on. If you're gonna go somewhere to spend the night, it might be good to bring your own pillowcase. Just in case somebody forgot to clean their pillowcase and someone had lice. It happens. Actually, the one time that I got lice as a kid was because when I was in kindergarten, we had nap time, and I forgot my mat one day. So the school kept some mats on hand for people who happened to forget to bring theirs. So I used one of their mats, and then the next morning I woke up and my head was super itchy. And my parents took me to a doctor, and they found out right away, yep, you've got lice. So they gave me a special shampoo, went home, washed my hair, and I was back in school before it was let out of session because the shampoo, we caught it so early and the shampoo worked so well that it was all gone right away. So it's really not that big a deal, especially for someone like me who has such thin hair. It might be harder to get rid of if you have really thick hair. Right. Yeah, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about it at all. Not today, because I am officially saying that you are clean and free of nits and lice. Yep, and I'm just going to throw these away because we use new ones for every student. So, thank you so much for coming and seeing me today and sitting so still. And you and I think, had a very good conversation. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, so just make sure you give that information to your parents. As I said before, the easiest way to prevent a lice outbreak is education. If you are getting checked often at your own home by your parents, there's much less of a chance that we'll have any kind of outbreak here at school. Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of the day. It was very nice meeting you. Bye.